Alrighty. Welcome to a beautiful afternoon out here at the River House. It's almost 7, so I won't get too much work in, but the main goal is to fuel and grease that monster and then do as many loads of rock out of the blast hole as possible. Why am I so late? Well, that thing. So that's the work Ford, and that's the work Ford. And when I went back, I worked a big auction in Big Fork for my father-in-law. And on the way back, on the reservation between the lake and Hot Springs, I noticed a sprinkle on the rear window, and it wasn't raining. When I hit the windshield wiper or the rear window wiper, it was very clear it was transmission fluid. By the time I was climbing the hill outside of Hot Springs, just pouring smoke. By the time I was most of the way through Camas Prairie, I started to surge. Anyways, through nothing but tremendous abuse and thoughtlessness, I managed to get it all the way up to here. So today I put 5 quarts of transmission fluid in it, which, number one, appears to have filled it up. I would have thought it'd been a lot more than that. But it now seems to drive normally. I was going to put up transmission fluid, start it, and try to find out where the leak was. The assumption is, like cooler lines or something blew. It puked oil once before on us and started to smoke, just like this, but we were towing the Jeep. And we've since learned that those things can't tow anything. But it seems to work normally, it seems to have all of its power, and I can't get it to drip. I have no idea. So I got 3 more quarts of transmission fluid in the back of it, and I guess I'll just drive it and see. One thing I know is it'll eventually tell me what's broken. So, your guess is as good as mine. I have a spare one with a spare motor and transmission. All of which works. The motor uses a bunch of oil, but I'm not taking the time to switch them. So let's go grease and fuel. So this is all part of the process. It's not quite 3 days of hard labor in exchange for 1 day of blasting, but it is pretty slow. And I've tried scooping it up off, and if I can get the bucket onto one of these big rock shelves, I do okay as long as the material itself isn't very thick. And the hose, she's just not going to stand up to hammering into. It's a dirt loader. It can't handle this. So I move it by hand. I was so disheartened by our lack of progress on the last time that I went ahead and pulled the trigger on a very large and expensive hammer drill. It's not a Hilti, right? I that's out of the price range, and it's just too much. But I did buy one of the biggest Bosches I could find. It's one of the ones that doesn't even come up when you search for them, right? You have to kind of go to their website and dig around. So anyways, it's a $1,000 drill, and it's on its way. And oh man, I hope it works. Because if it doesn't work, well, then I have spent another $1,000 on this project. I don't know. It's just one of these. Some days I just go back and forth, and I should have spent the $12,000 and had it blasted professionally. But I'm addicted to the challenge, right? I'm addicted to trying to accomplish it on my own, even if that's stupid. No, I don't know. Like I said, I was so disappointed in what we got done that I got a much bigger monster coming. My hope is that my drill bits will last longer, because I was poking around doing some research, and they said that if your drill isn't strong enough, doesn't hit hard enough, you are just turning it in the hole too much, which builds the extra heat and adds the extra wear or whatnot. I'll let you know one way or another. So that's not too bad. I got all that cleaned off. I got a bunch of these rock ledges dug out here. This whole end is just hard as hell, but you know, I can put 3 through there, 1 there and there, probably 3 through here, 3 through here, and that should shatter that whole end, and then I can start pounding on this. As my ever so sweet and sexy voiceover mentioned, or at least I hope it did, otherwise this will seem odd. You know, I've got that big drill coming, and I'm just going to pound on it. I figure with the expense of that big drill and the new Irwin and Makita's drill bits coming, I figure I'm still going to come in after explosives, not counting my time, because my time is depressingly cheap, but I'm going to come in at, I'm hoping, a third, less than a third of the cost of having it professionally done. Granted, those guys would have thump, and then been on their way, and it would have been all over. I'm not a complete and total idiot. These are the rocks that have some nice big flat square faces, and I'm going to move those and stack them down near my wall, so that if I ever get around to doing that again, and my understanding is that mortar mix, I didn't realize that mortar mix can't, even if it's totally dry, they say you shouldn't use it after a year. So I'd like to get in and do some of that, but I'm also down, I think, below optimal hardening, so we'll have to just cope and deal with it later. You're just getting too much wind noise, I think, at this point, so I'm gonna call it a night. So from all of us to all of you out here at this super beautiful